How's it going, everybody? This is Dean Rojas with Epidemic Sound, and today we're going to talk about 5 essential effects in Premiere Pro. So the first effect that I use all the time is going to be Warp Stabilizer, or as my friend Ryan calls it, Warpies. So basically what Warp Stabilizer is going to do is it's going to stabilize your shaky footage. Now, Warp Stabilizer is not a miracle cure for shaky handheld footage. It's just going to add a little bit of smoothness. For example, this clip right here was shot on a gimbal. I applied the Warp Stabilizer onto it to kind of smooth it out a little bit. As you can tell, it adds a little bit more smoothness, a little bit more dynamic. It looks a lot more professional and a lot more crispy. So to apply this effect, you're gonna make sure that your footage is nested into the sequence. You can do this by right-clicking and click Nest. Now head over to your effects and you're just gonna type in Warp. Make sure that you have your nested sequence selected and you can double-click on Warp Stabilizer or drag and drop it on top to apply the effect. So now we're gonna move on over to our effects panel, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep it on smooth motion. So then we're gonna knock down the smoothness to about 25% or lower. I don't recommend going any higher because then it's gonna get that warp effect and we don't want that. We just want it to smooth out our footage a little bit. And to further avoid the warp, we're gonna change this to position, scale, and rotation. So with the position, auto crop, and scale, you're gonna lose a little bit of information as the clip has to crop into the frame, but that's okay. It's not going to be a dramatic jump, but just keep that in mind as it's going to crop a little bit. Make sure that Warp Stabilizer has analyzed before exporting the clip, or else you're gonna get this banner across it that says clip needs analyzing once you export. Premiere has a new pop-up that pretty much tells you that this needs to be analyzed. Good job, Premiere. But just be aware of that and make sure that everything's analyzed, all your settings have been applied before export. So the next effect is gonna be even more simple, and that is adding an exponential fade. So what the exponential fade is going to do is it's going to transition in or out your audio. You can find this in your effects panel. I just typed in Expo. And then you're gonna select it and you can just drag and drop it onto your clip. So you can stretch it out and make it bigger or smaller, and what that's going to do is it's going to increase the way that your audio gains. This is a super easy solution without having to keyframe down the audio. I use this every day, one of my top effects. So the next effect is going to be adding a Gaussian blur. I think that's how you pronounce it, not 100% on that. So what this blur is going to do is it's basically going to look like you pulled out a focus. I use this a lot to reveal text or to reveal a logo as it kind of pushes the background back, and then you have full detail to reveal what you're trying to say. So to apply this effect, you're going to find this in your effects panel as well, and then you can drag it onto your clip. But how do we get it to fade out to look like your camera's pulling out of focus? Well, that goes into the next effect, which is going to be keyframing. So keyframing is bringing in values of color, it's changing opacity, it's basically animating your effects. Keyframing is a very essential video editing tool that Premiere Pro allows you to do. I personally will keyframe in After Effects over Premiere Pro, but there are certain instances like this one where I'll just use Premiere Pro's built-in tool where it's not completely necessary for me to get all professional with it. So let's keyframe this Gaussian blur. So to activate keyframes, we're gonna click on the little stopwatch next to the value that we wanna change or animate. So for the Gaussian blur, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my value to 0 to have it not show at all. And then I'm gonna bump it up to where I would like to have it. It depends on what type of transition you're going for. I don't normally go all the way. I still wanna keep a little bit of the background in the blur. So Premiere Pro offers a basic version of keyframing. There's not a ton of customization in the tools that you'll get with After Effects, but there is enough, and I will totally use it for stuff like this all the time. So the next effect, it's technically an effect, but it's kind of a whole spectrum of Premiere Pro as well. And that's going to be Lumetri color. So what Lumetri color is going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to color correct your footage and color grade your footage. So Premiere Pro doesn't have the most high-tech best color correcting, color grading software, but it's built into Premiere Pro and you might as well use the tools that you already have. So there's a whole world of color correcting and color grading that's just too much to fit in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please comment, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on my personal channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep killing it.